Hello everyone, welcome to Best Top 5. I'm Best Guy, and on today's episode, we're talking about the top 5 films that were recasted with other actors. It could be sequels, it could be reboots. So I'll give you an example. Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone had Richard Harris playing Dumbledore. For some of the other sequels, we had Michael Gambon playing that role, and that was because he passed away. So this is an example of what we're going to be seeing on this top 5 list. Before I start, let me explain to you how this ranking works as to, which is number 5, which is number 1. It is based on who is better, if the recasting was good or if it wasn't, who is better playing the role. So for number 5, we have Katie Holmes in Batman Begins. She was replaced by Maggie Gyllenhaal in The Dark Knight. Now, personally, I think neither one is great playing the character of Rachel Dawes. Then again, the character's not that interesting. I never found her character intriguing or out of this world, and somehow freaking Batman is like, oh, she's the love of my life, Alfred. But I think Maggie Gyllenhaal did a better portrayal of Rachel Dawes. You actually saw her doing more. Like, you saw her in court, you actually saw her as a district attorney, whereas in Batman Begins, you do see a little bit of that, but you see her more as the old childhood friend of Bruce Wayne. And it always felt, at least her acting, just felt a little forced. It always had this thing that I just did not care for. So I would say Maggie Gyllenhaal wins playing the character of Rachel Dawes. So again, not a very interesting character, but she is better than Katie Holmes. For number 4, we have a recasting that might have some people divided. I know that people like both people who play this character, and that is The Incredible Hulk. In 2008, Edward Norton was in the reboot of The Hulk, and he played both Bruce Banner and the Hulk. And he was replaced in the Avengers with Mark Ruffalo. And they're both one and the same person. So people who are confused, they're both playing the same characters, not that they are ignoring the Incredible Hulk. So who do I think is better? Some people would say Mark Ruffalo is the better Bruce Banner and Hulk or whatever. Personally, I just haven't seen enough of him playing the role. I saw him in the Avengers, and I would like to see what he is going to do in Thor Ragnarok. But I still like Edward Norton a lot more. You actually see him as the scientist who's struggling, holding in that demon inside him. And you actually see him as a scientist. You see him doing a lot of research and trying to find a cure. Whereas with Mark Ruffalo, it's kind of like, oh, we have the Hulk here. We have Bruce Banner here in the background. And let's just show more of the Hulk. And he's good, but that's a CGI character. So, and there's also a part where I actually don't personally like in Avengers where Mark Ruffalo's character of Bruce Banner looks back at Captain America and he tells him, that's my secret, I'm always angry. And he turns into the Hulk. It kind of defeats the purpose of the first Incredible Hulk, where Edward Norton doesn't really want to turn into this demon, there's this monster. He was trying to control it. He always has this thing here that tells him how angry or how, tense he is. So that's for number 4. For number 3, we have one of my favorite movies, Silence of the Lambs, which starred with Jodie Foster. Jodie Foster plays Clarice Starling, who is investigating these murders that are occurring, and Hannibal Lecter is helping her out in the investigation, and he's in a mental institution and whatnot. So at the end of that film, he escapes and whatnot, and the sequel, which was released in 2001, many, many years later from the first film, they could not get Jodie Foster to reprise the role, so they got Julianne Moore. So this is a tough one. This is a tough cookie, because I like both of these actresses, and they both do a great role portraying the character of Clarice Starling. I think they're both great actresses, and they're both playing the character very close to one another. Like, sometimes when I'm watching Julianne Moore, I think I'm watching Jodie Foster. And that's both a good thing and a bad thing. It's good in the sense that it stays canon with the portrayal of Jodie Foster in Silence of the Lambs, but she never gets to make the character her own. She's also doing the exact same accent that Jodie Foster did in Silence of the Lambs. So for this, I would have to choose Jodie Foster over Julianne Moore, even though Julianne Moore did an amazing job also in that film. It's just that, again, she is playing, it's like she's mimicking Jodie Foster's performance. I know a lot of people might disagree, but that's what I see when I watch Ridley Scott's Hannibal. So for number 2, this is a movie that I know a lot of people have seen, and some people forget this, that in Back to the Future has had a lot of recasting. Not many people know this, but Eric Stoltz is originally going to be in Back to the Future, and he was recast by Michael J. Fox because they originally wanted Michael J. Fox, but he was working in Family Ties. But that's not what I'm going to be mentioning here. I'm going to be mentioning Marty McFly's girlfriend, Jennifer. She was originally played by Claudia Wells in the first movie. And her acting wasn't that great. It was kind of wooden. And so they replaced her with Elizabeth Shue in Back to the Future 2 and 3, which I thought was a great choice because she's a lot more lively. She has a bit more humor. And it was a really good choice because the first actress, she was pretty and I think she did an okay job. But I think she has some of the same problems that Eric Stoltz had. If you watch some of the footage of Back to the Future, they're both just not right in terms of comedic timing. So I think Elizabeth Shue was a lot better for this type of film. So for number one, this is also a bit of a tough choice for me because I like both of these actors. I think they both did a good job with the character that they're playing. And number one is Terrence Howard in Iron Man and Don Cheadle in Iron Man 2 and all the subsequent films. So a brief history as to what happened. And this is very brief. Terrence Howard just wanted more money. That's it. And he got fired. They said, fuck you. Kevin Feige said, fuck you, get out of here. And they recasted him with Don Cheadle. If you're expecting a very complicated, convoluted history as to why they recast him, that was just it. Here's the thing. When I watch Iron Man, I like the comedic timing and the chemistry that Terrence Howard and Robert Downey Jr. have on screen. It works. Like there's a scene where they're in the plane and he's saying, 4 hours I've been waiting for you. He's like, hey, it's my own plane. You know, I don't think I have to wait for my own plane. So he gets on the plane, you know, he's like, oh, you know, pour us some sake. I'm not drinking with you. And the next shot, they're drinking and they're having fun. And you have a bunch of strippers on the pole. And there's like a lot of funny parts with Terrence Howard that I don't think would work with Don Cheadle. However, Don Cheadle is a more serious and better character when he's playing War Machine. So it's hard, but personally, like, God, I'm going to have to go with Terrence Howard. Like, this is going to be an unpopular opinion, but like I remember a lot of lines from Terrence Howard in Iron Man 1. I don't remember many lines from Don Cheadle in any of the other movies. I mean, he's great in the character. I don't think he's did anything wrong. It's just I prefer, like, there's a part also where Terrence Howard is at the beginning of the movie. Robert Downey Jr. is like throwing dice, and before he throws it, he asks a girl to blow on his hand, and then Terrence Howard goes, I don't blow a man's hand. I don't blow a man's hand. You go. And it's just, I don't know. When I do it, it looks like shit, but when you watch the movie, it's pretty funny because they have good chemistry. So that's my number one. You can write your hate comments. You know, you can send them to www.idon'tgiveafuck, and I'll respond to you very cordially, and I'll tell you what I think. So, but anyway, guys, this was Best Top 5's choice on the top 5 movies that were recast with other actors. If you have any comments, questions, or suggestions, please leave it on the comments section down below. Make sure to like this video, subscribe, and until next time.